Today Africa Podcast is a podcast series where we interview African entrepreneurs and professionals and share the stories behind their businesses. In each interview, we ask how they got started, how they grew, and how they run their business today. The stories are inspiring and also provide specific advice and insight into starting a business. By sharing these stories, we want to help others get started.
You are welcome to Today Africa podcast, and we are speaking with Nazlee Mayhew. She's the founder of Global Mindset. So please, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Thank you, and thank you also for inviting me to have this session with you today. You know, it's an honor to be on your platform. And a little bit about myself. I'm from Zimbabwe, and I'm married. I have a son. We lived in the UK for about 15 years, and then we moved to Malta. We've been here about 8 years. So my professional career has always been a personal assistant, office manager for 30 years. And when I was in one of my jobs, a colleague said to me, "Why aren't you a life coach?" I had no idea what life coaching was about. It's something that the Americans and, those in the UK have been doing for 40, 50 years. And that's based on the fact that I used to also run workshops from time to time in the organization, whether it was diversity and inclusion, well-being, personal development. So when she asked me that question about 6 years ago, I looked into becoming a life coach, and I did my first certification. And it just made me realize that my passion for learning, which started many, many years ago, as a young child, always reading books. We were always encouraged to read books by our parents. My mom would leave us in the library where we should go and run errands. Obviously, we were under the care of the librarian, and we'd sit there for hours, my brother and I, just reading. And so it's always been part of our life for this personal development and this hunger, not only to, and I'm not only speaking for myself, I know for many other people coming from Africa, we always have our noses to the books, and we're always learning, but you also learn over time. It's about implementing it. So through life coaching, I then started coaching women around confidence, around mindset, which is a lot of the work that I do for reprogramming the way we think based on how we were raised as children, and then also helping them set up their own business. So that's how I came to develop Global Mindset Solutions, because I know that once we change the way we think and the beliefs that we hold about ourselves and the world, we can then start to unlock our full potential.
An experience or an activity can prompt something. So can you share your personal journey and what really inspired you to go fully into coaching and consulting, and what equally inspired you to found Global Mindset?
So I've always felt that there was more to life. I've always felt that as women that we can have it all, the husband, the children, family, a career, everything, just like men do. But with women, it's a different aspect because we've got the role in the house as well as career. So it's balancing those two without burning out. And also having the support system, whether it's from your husband or family, to help you. So I've always wanted to own my own business. I started one maybe 30 odd years ago, and I showed my friend my business card and she laughed at me. And because I didn't have the belief in myself, I shelved it. When in the UK, I studied to become a wedding planner because I love weddings, especially the church part, which is the spiritual part. But then I also enjoy the event management part of it. And I did that for a month, and then I stopped. I sent out loads of letters to potential brides and on social media. I didn't hear anything, and I stopped. So when this colleague said to me, "Why aren't you a life coach?" I thought, okay, I have got to understand what stopped me from building those businesses, because it's something that I was passionate about. And that's when I started to understand how our limiting beliefs hold us back so much, the stories that we tell each other. So through life coaching, I then set up the Global Mindset Solutions, and I've been doing that for 5 years now, based in Malta. And I've had women from various backgrounds, various stages in their business, from different educational levels, whether they only went to college or whether they got several degrees. And what I've come to learn is about coaching the person. because initially I'd also feel intimidated that this person has a degree. You know, there's a client I have, she's an engineer, and her mind is just so powerful and the things she talks about. But through coaching, you learn that there's a person behind that title. And that's what inspires me to help more and more women in business or in their careers, is getting to know that person, building that relationship, which I feel is so important, that they then be able to trust you with their inner secrets, or, you know, things that they've gone through, traumatic experiences, because it's something very personal. And it's not a place where people have that opportunity to share those kinds of things. But because we focus so much on the person, we can get to understand them and what is actually going on in our subconscious mind and what's stopping them or blocking them. So that's my journey to coaching, you know, to where I am today. And I recently changed. I'm a certified business and money mindset coach, but I recently changed, and it's a title, to business growth strategist, because there's so many strategies, both internally and externally, that we can unlock our potential.
In everything we do in life, you know, we are always faced with challenges. So what challenges have you faced growing your business global mindset, and how have you been able to overcome them?
Okay, so the first one, I'll talk about external challenges. So financially, you know, we're not business people. We don't have, you know, daddy who can give us millions of dollars to start your business. But it's this passion that you have that keeps driving you every day. So the first 99 cents I spent on my business 5 years ago was with GoDaddy. I bought my domain name for my company. And for me, that was my first investment that I made as a business owner. But the tech part, you know, also came into it. So, but you learn as you go along. Then you have AI, which has also been included. And so you're always learning something different, is something new. So the tech part is one aspect, the financial part is another. And then I would start taking money from my savings account. And my husband is not a risk taker. So we'd have, you know, several conversations around that I'm investing in the business. So I was able to do that. And then as I started building my clients, you know, any income that I derived from that, I was then able to slowly add into the business. So that's the financial part, is that we're not able to go to a bank. You know, I did open a business bank account, and they said, well, you know, when you have $10,000 in your account, we can use that as an overdraft. And I said, but if I have 10,000 in my account, why would I need an overdraft? You know, so basically they're saying we can't help you. So, you know, you're not going to get any support from the banks, or, you know, your parents' funding, or, you know, anywhere else. So that you've got to start on your own. And I would encourage anyone who's listening right now, is that even if you have 0 cents or 99 cents or $1,000, if you believe in what you're doing and the impact, it goes beyond just making money in a business. The impact that you're making in, say, women's lives, in my case, is that it will keep you going. You will become creative. So, you know, you will learn, you'll use YouTube, you'll use, you know, Google, you'll tap into free sessions, and to start off with, but it's also about implementing. So the finances is one side, the tech is another. You know, I've had to learn how to use that as well. Support is very important. So if you don't have any family or friends, or, you know, they don't understand your business. And I know a lot of times women want to sell, you know, if you've got products, you know, if it's candles or vegetables, or, you know, coaching services, whatever it is you have, you want to sell to your family and friends. Don't be disappointed if they don't buy, because they don't understand your passion. It's something different to them. So as much as it's a new thing for you, it's new for them. So don't be despondent if you're not getting that type of support. You can seek out, you know, elsewhere. You can get a role model or a mentor, or, you know, or join business groups where there's people who are, you know, heading in your direction. So the support, is also very important. What else can I say in terms of challenges? Then internally, it was the self-limiting beliefs. So even though you've got all this information, you know, at the tip of your mobile phone or your laptop, you can go into, you know, Google and search, how do I do this, or how do I create that? It's your belief. Can I really do this? You know, is this possible for me? So those are the external and internal challenges that I face, and slowly have overcome them, you know, over time as well.
How does a global mindset specifically empower and support women in leadership and in business?
Okay, so for women in leadership, because not everybody wants to be a business owner, for the women who want to excel in their career, I work with mid to senior level managers. And I help them also create their own leadership development plan so that they know at least for the next 12 months what they'll be doing in their career and for their teams. And these are all tied to the organization's objectives as well. I help them also, understand what their strengths are, because more often than not, for women more, is that we downplay our skills, we dim our light, we don't show who we are because of, various aspects growing up, where you've been told to be quiet, or, you should just be in the home and not doing anything, to make noise, or, in your career, just go to work, do what you need to do. So a lot of these things hold us back, and it's unlocking their strengths and seeing what is my superpower. Who am I? What is my identity as a leader? Because sometimes we may take on that role as a leader, but we're not really fully embracing it or embodying it in the sense that we can help our teams. So it's looking at their strengths and their style. It's looking at their career plan, both for the organization and themselves. They may want to be promoted within the company, and we help them work through that. Or they may want to leave in 5 years' time and, start up their own. I work mainly with HR managers, but not only them specifically. They may want to open their own recruitment agency. So, we look at that as well. So their leadership plans. We also look at how they can manage people more effectively. So emotional intelligence is one of the big soft skills that we work on, which ties in with communication and interpersonal skills. And understanding people. Everybody has a story. Everyone is going through something. And sometimes we can bring that to work, and our managers may not pick up on that as well. So it's been able to really get to understand your team so you can get them to, be more productive and perform even better, which in turn will lead to the company, gaining more profit, as an end result. So that's for women in leadership. For women in business, I help them set up their business plan and include strategies like sales, marketing, digital marketing, which is quite popular. Everybody uses social media these days, to develop their signature program with all the modules that are involved in it as well. And to help them, identify their ideal client and who they want to work with. And for a lot of my clients, like myself, we're introverts. So going onto social media is it is quite a busy place. It's quite a noisy place. So how do you then, use social media to your advantage as an introvert, but also be able to, grow your business through that? So that's how I help both women in leadership and business.
Global mindset is only for women. You didn't include the guys and the young men.
I am open to it. I did coach a client last year. There was a group of, it was a team, and one of them was male. And then I did offer mentorship to a few people earlier this year, and one of them was male as well. So it's just that because I'm a woman, that I find it easier to interact with women. I must say that, I've had, one or two occasions where a man would want to work with me, but it quickly went south. So I'm not in a hurry to connect with men in that sense, because it can go either way. But it's not that I'm not open to coaching men. It would be somebody who wants to access our services and be, focus on themselves, and not have a hidden agenda. So.
Any business without customers or clients is not a business. So since you launched, what strategies have you used to attract and retain your clients?
Mm-hmm. Coaching is a very personal journey for clients. For myself, I found networking has been the most powerful way. So I also attend, International Women's Day events and speak to other, women who are either the speakers for that event, or when you're mingling with them or chatting with them afterwards through the networking. And I've acquire clients through that way, which is quite powerful. So it's all about building relationships, and then they also become repeat. So they may pay for my high-end product, or they may attend a workshop, or they might buy an ebook, for $10. Or when we also host our own events, either International Women's Day or other events throughout the year, we have get-togethers or lunches. I would go first to, those people. So they become clients and friends as well, so they would also then refer me. I've had a few referrals as well in the last 18 months, where people say, I've worked with Nazlee, or I haven't worked with her, but I would recommend her, and I've got clients that way as well. So it's all about building relationships, and it's not something that's done overnight. Social media is another way where you can obtain clients. So providing value, through your posts, connecting with people, gaining new, friendships or relationships with people that, business-wise, where you can also grow your business through social media as well.
Your work is all about helping people move from point A to point B. So what are some of the common mindset blocks that you have seen in your clients, and how do you help them to overcome them?
I would say the biggest one is imposter syndrome, because the majority of my clients are high achieving, ambitious women. They know what they want. They've achieved a lot in their life, but there'll still be something that's holding them back. And imposter syndrome is that belief that you're a fraud. Who's going to believe me? Who's going to think that, my credentials or my qualifications are genuine, which they are, so that's one area that holds us back a lot. And it's also areas that I've gone through myself. So I'm able to identify them as well, because it's work that I'm familiar with, for me. That confidence, the lack of confidence, growing up as a young girl, you're told you'll get married, you'll have children, your life is just you and your husband. If you do get a job, you go to work and come back. We don't go and play golf like the men did, where they close business deals or, go and have a drink in the pub, because it's different for women. I'm talking more from the life as an African woman. So you find that even if you are ambitious, that you did go to university, you have your degrees, there's something holding you back, and you don't have that confidence. Even if you do speak up in the boardroom, this is for women in leadership, you'll find that, sorry to say, it's mainly men. Not only that, say women wouldn't do it, but you've spoken over. It's like, what do you have to say? I am more important than you. And if you've got egos in the boardroom, it tends to make you dim your light. So we help them build that self-confidence and that self-belief, and that's by tapping into their strengths and their superpower, where if somebody's speaking over you, that you're able to stand up for yourself and advocate for yourself and say, could I finish what I was saying? You don't have to be as aggressive as the other person. If there's also women who want your position and know that you're scaling up the ladder and they also want to hold you back, how do you tackle those types of things, in the corporate world? So, it's the other one is money mindset, where, we go back again to your childhood. So although I'm a coach, I'm not a therapist, but I will go back into your childhood to get to understand, who raised you, what did they say, what beliefs are you holding, the values that you have, from your family. And there'll be a lot that we'll take away from our parents, without a doubt. But sometimes we'll hear our parents saying things like rich people are evil. Money is the root of all evil. Even the Bible says that. The Bible doesn't say money is the root of all evil. It says how you use it is where it becomes evil. But the money itself, it's a tool. It's a transaction that we use. Back in the day, the Romans used to use salt. Salt was more important than gold. And that's where the word salary came from. Today we use money, so just, given the comparison that it's a tool, or they'll say we have to work hard for everything in life. We've got to work twice as hard. My grandmother, I used to go and visit her in the village as a young girl, and I couldn't speak the local language, and she really didn't speak much English, but we used to communicate. And she said to me, my child, you have two strikes. One is you're a girl, and two is that you will find that, you'll be held back in life because you're a girl of color. And that stayed with me for a long time. So I used to wrestle and, always be fighting against the world because I had those beliefs. And I thought, but she also told me that I'm amazing. I come from, from my mom and her and the village and our people when we get together, and I've seen all the struggles that they've gone through and we rise through it all. So she's also been very, she's late now. Sally, she passed away on my birthday. So, she's always been special to me, and I remember those conversations. So when it comes to making money, you'll find with my clients is they don't want to charge. Like, oh no, I can do it for free, especially in the coaching space where we're coming from servant leadership, where we're helping people and we want to, help people heal, if they've gone through traumatic experiences or if they want to rise in their career. So we're very much for our clients. But then if you say, I need to sell my services, then you find people back away. Or they'll be on social media and they're posting quotes from the gurus, or, from the Bible, or how you can change your mindset. Those are all great. And I've also done it myself, don't get me wrong, but it's surface level. We need to be able to have somebody read our post and say, oh my goodness, you're talking about me. Like the client I had who said, I read a post a year ago and it stuck with me. And when I realized I'm still having this problem, Nazlee came to mind. And that was from 12 months ago. I mean, how much information are we taking in every day? So people are scrolling past your posts. And when you speak to the women, it's like, okay, if I do sell my services, then, and I do make money, am I going to be able to keep that money? Because we do have a relationship with money. So, and it impacts different areas of our life. So these are the challenges that women face: their limiting beliefs, feeling they're an imposter, their money beliefs, and then also just as a business. How do you build a business without having a business manager or a business development, manager helping you? You're doing it from your heart, and your passion. But do you want to build a profitable business so that you can quit your job, so you can spend more time with your kids, so that you can pay for their private education, so that you don't have to struggle, with you and your husband, you have your own dreams. So how do you do that there? And that's the core of the work that I do.
What tools and techniques do you use in your programs to evoke new insights and create lasting change?
Okay. So it's starting with asking powerful questions. Okay. So we do have a tool kit where we have questions that we can ask, whether it's based on their goal or what they're going through in their personal life. But asking those questions is something that we don't really get the time. You think, even if as a manager, you're leading your team, when you're meeting with your manager, it's this is what's happening, this is what I was dealing with. It may have been somebody was underperforming and what I did, or business is really going well. And even if you do have those one-to-one meetings with your own manager as well, it will be around the business aspect. So, but coaching is so personal that we sit with that person and we listen, so even their non-verbal cues tell us a story, there's an NLP technique, and NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, that if we're talking right now and I keep putting my head down, I know that if I was talking to you and you kept putting your head down, it's you accessing emotions. If you're looking up, you're thinking, that time that I was walking with my uncle, what is it that I was? So it's, even your body language tells me a lot. If you're sitting like this, I'll know that most times that you're protecting yourself. Or if your words, if you say, oh, it's really difficult to start up a business, I could never ever do it, I don't have any time. We all have time. And I'm not talking about time like Beyonce, who has a whole team of us. But when I speak to women and find out, let's go through your week, so it's also looking at your daily habits. So it's asking those questions and then looking at your daily habits. And they'll tell you, well, I scroll on social media for 2 hours in the evening when the kids are gone to bed. I watch Netflix the whole weekend. I'm always following this other coach and seeing what she's doing. When are you spending time on your business? So if your time is constantly going out, but you're not focusing back on yourself, and then it's like, okay, let's start Saturday morning, 30 minutes. If you a couple, ask your husband or partner if you can take the children 30 minutes, an hour, you just work on your business, or be able to say to your family, because they're part of the business, that a mom's got some work to do, so can I just have 1 hour? So it's finding those pockets that if you really want to achieve your goal, you will find the time. If I go onto social media, I'm not scrolling and reading on reality shows or what this person had to say about somebody else. It's negative. It's not helping me. I do find information that's useful and I might read it, but my purpose when I go on social media is I want to connect with my community. I want to share information. I want to build new relationships. Can you see it's a totally different mindset from I'm going on to scroll and see what's going on in the world and to gossip and put my comment on, and then you get up into a fight with people. So it's looking at their daily habits and how they can find those pockets of time, looking asking them those powerful questions, using techniques like the NLP that I was talking about, developing a plan for them. I find a lot of times leadership or business, they may have an idea of or a vision for their business, but it's not 5 years from now. It's not 3 years from now. It's now. And a lot of the times, especially I'm talking from Africa, is we want to put food on the table. I need to feed my child. I need to pay my rent. And those are all valid, don't get me wrong. And my child needs new school shoes. You know, they grow so quickly, and new school uniforms, and the school has got another fee that we have to pay. So we're thinking, how can I go on and make money so I can pay for those things? But you're actually going from a point of, I need to dig into Nazlee's pocket. I need to get that dollar from her. How can I do it? And we can see it a mile away. We can see it a mile away. So you find that I'm not selling any services. I'm not making any money. It's because I know you only want my money. And when I'm talking about building relationships, I'm talking about from an authentic place of how you can, build relationships with people. And then people will, I can tell you that 80% of my clients that I've worked with, they've paid me straight away. They didn't think about it. They didn't go and hire somebody else. They just said, Nazlee, we want to work with you. I said, I'll send you the contract. They sign it, they pay, or they pay a deposit, and we get going, because they know that I'm invested in them. Yes, I have a business, but if you focus on how can I get that dollar from that person, you're not going to get anything out of them at all. So those are the tools that we use in terms of how are you managing your business? What's your vision? What's your mission? 5 years from now, what impact you want to make in the world? And then we work backwards to where we are today and how you can start building that business.
How do you measure the impact of your coaching programs on your clients?
The impact is that they change their relationship with money. They from a scarcity mentality to an abundance. So the scarcity mentality is, we have a chocolate cake and there's 12 slices, and we all think I'm only going to get one slice. And if we're 14 people, one of us is going to have to share with somebody else. So, we're thinking that I need to get my slice of cake, and I'm going to do it by any means possible because I want that slice of cake. What we don't realize, if you ask the host, she has 3 other cakes in the kitchen. So you're only seeing, so that's the abundance mindset, that there's always be more for me. I mean, you wake up in the morning and the birds are singing. They don't go to the supermarket to buy food, but they're singing and they're happy. So, from a faith point of view, if God is providing for, the birds and the bees, they find flowers and things like that, what more for us? So when you start thinking about there's enough for me, or I'm not going to compare myself to another coach, how many clients do you want to work with? If she's working with 10 and you work with 10, how many people are on Facebook every day? There's billions of people. So if you only want to work with 10 people a year or 20 people a year, from that 7 billion, so that's from the cake analogy, that there's more, so you may just get a slice today. You may not get the slice because they've gone to work with somebody else, but it's making that impact, that's believing in yourself, which is transformational and it's long lasting. Because believe you me, the higher you go, or the next level you reach, those doubts are going to come back, because our mind has one purpose, and that's to keep us safe. That's all it has to do. It's got one job. How am I going to keep this person safe? So now she was charging $10 an hour. Now she wants to charge $100 an hour. No. What if she gets rejected? What if people laugh at her? What if people tell her that she's an imposter? All those thoughts that you had at the beginning come back. But we build it to such a place that we can say, do you know what? To your inner voice, I got it. I know that I've got the support to do this here. So you go straight away from, I've got this negative thought in my mind. I'm not going to be able to get a client for $100. Let me go back to charging 10. No, but I've invested in myself. I've invested in my business. I've got clients who are willing to pay that $100. So what is it that I would need to do next? Okay, these are the steps I need to take. So by building that career plan with them, or their business plan with them, they know, they also have there's affirmations, or they may, if they're a keynote speaker or a host MC, you might find that they want to stand in their own power stand, so it's really getting in tune, not only with your thoughts, but your body. The two have to be connected, because I'm sure you've seen leaders or speakers who are, their message is very powerful, but you might find that they're fidgeting, they're shifting from one foot to the other, they're staring at the back of the wall. So maybe they're not fully confident in themselves, but the message that they're delivering is, and you think, there was something about that speaker that I couldn't put my mind to. It's those kinds of things that we help them, and make that impact. So it's transformational and it's long lasting. It's not, even if I work with a client for 4 months, I'm not going to want to continue working with them like, say, a therapist would, because I have now given them the tools to start their business or grow in their career. And when they have those doubts, they will, be able to say, okay, who is it that I need to tap into now? We tap into their moments where they were most confident about themselves, and we get them to a position where they can hold it, so that even if they are feeling nervous in an interview, or they're talking to a potential client or going on a date, you pull that person right out, because that young person, or even your future self, it's within you. So that's where the transformation comes in.
What are your future plans for Global Mindsets?
All right. I'd like to open up an academy in Zimbabwe within the next 2 years. And I'd like to, over the next 5 years, once it's opened, is help at least 1 million women in Zimbabwe through paid or through, free workshops. It's something that we would want to do. It could be have a grant from, organizations who provide business owners with grants, and I can invite women on for free workshops, or I can have get-togethers, and then also, obtain paid clients. And I believe that the more empowered women are, and also working together with men. So we need men as our allies, that it's not a threat to them, that we're not taking over the home. He's the provider and the protector. What we're saying is, if you think of the bird when it's building, she will fly out and bring a twig. She'll fly out and bring a flower. She'll fly out and bring, the grass. We are builders, for the majority of women, we bring children into this world. We can make great things. So with the skills that we have, because we all have a gift, is that empowering them to be financially independent, so that if the decisions that they're making, whether it's health or whether it's for their children's education or whether it's their relationships, sometimes you find women are in relationships they can't get out of because they don't earn any money. They don't, or they earn too little and they can't leave. So we want to be able to, for the families that are together, is to help them build and they can achieve their goals together. For women who are single and raising their own children, to be able to not struggle, like, where am I going to get that dollar to feed my child? And, today I don't want, pop and vegetables. I want to have that steak, because I can go out and buy it. Those are basics, and I want to send my child to a good school or a private school. I want to be able to buy him new shoes and not tell him to, keep wearing them for another 6 months. So by providing women with the financial resources, so that they can, become more financially independent and time independent. A big thing with women is we don't spend enough time on our self-care. Self-care is seen as a luxury, and it's because we've got all these tasks, and by no means am I putting any of them down. We enjoy doing them. We enjoy serving our families and extended family, our parents who raised us as well, even extended family. But sometimes you also just need to rest, and resting, it could be, a long hot bath, a shower, or it could be, I'm just reading a book and I'm not thinking about anything because I have that time to myself, because you can't pour from an empty cup. So if I'm depleted and somebody's saying, I need a sip from your cup, but I've got nothing left in me, I'm not going to be productive. But where I get to a place where I'm financially stable, I'm mentally stable, I can look after myself and my family and provide for them and make an impact in my community. So whether I'm giving to my church, whether I'm empowering other women in my community to start up their own business or side hustle, whatever it is, that's the impact that I want to make.
What advice would you give to women or others who are starting their business or their company?
Okay. I would say to them that there's a saying, and this is a shortened version. It says the richest place on earth is the graveyard. There's so many of us who pass away without having unlocked our full potential. We all have a gift. God has given every single person you come across a gift. So it's for you to use that gift. When you ask, what is my purpose on earth? That is your purpose, to find what gift has God given me and use that as your purpose to help other people. It's tough. It's not easy. You will face many challenges, whether it's people who only want your money and they're not interested in building a relationship with you, to tech, AI, that's a whole new world that, that we've been faced with in the last couple of years. There'll always be challenges. You will doubt yourself, but surround yourself with people who are heading in the same direction. Remove yourself, even if from social media. I have a WhatsApp group, and the ladies have said they've deleted this, their Facebook pages or Instagram pages, because it's draining. The social media has gotten to a point where it's not so social, and they're also competing with each other. So you find on Facebook, all I see are adverts, people I don't know, celebrities I don't follow, reality shows I don't follow, don't watch them. So I've got to keep on, deleting them. So it's changed over the years. So if you are on social media, spend time wisely, know your goal. Why am I on social media? If I'm here to TikTok, I can watch it for an hour. There's these funny things with the content creators, if that's your downtime. But if I'm going onto Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, I'm sharing information with people. So getting to understand what your goal is, and when you're faced with those challenges, if you need to remove yourself, if you need to change, there's 4 things I talk about. It's to pivot. So if you start your business and you think, I'll give you an example. I was talking to some ladies in just a church conference about 2 years ago. And one of them said, oh, my friend braids hair and she's very successful and she has lots of clients. But when I try doing it, I don't have anyone coming to me. Well, what's the difference? And so the question I asked her is, do you like braiding? And she said, oh, no. She did that. Oh, no, that's the body language. I said, so what do you like doing? She said, I love cooking. I said, there's your answer. So you're following somebody who was successful and you're trying it and it's not working because it's not your gift. So if you're finding that your business is not working, then pivot. No one's going to know, unless you want to tell the world that I failed at braiding, so I'm not going to start cooking. Pivot and just, bring in, the 2. You could be braiding your daughter's hair and be talking about a meal you're making. Pause. If you really feel that I'm struggling, I've got all these challenges, I don't have any money, I'm not bringing in clients, I'm not making an impact, pause, take a break, go for a walk, be out in nature, read a book, go swimming, go back to your hobbies. What do you enjoy doing? If you need to pull over because you're in somebody else's lane, and I always say, stay in your own lane, just drink your own water, stay in your own lane. You find that I'm in somebody else's lane and I'm being pushed by them because it's not where I need to be. Pull over, so you can start again. So that's what I would say is that in one way I say it's not easy, but I don't want that to be the only negative thought because there's many variables to building a successful business. Follow people who are successful if you are on social media and you enjoy doing that. It's remember your why. So why did you start? What's your purpose? What's your vision? Do you have a roadmap, for where you're going? Hang around with people that to inspire you as well. Find a role model, hire a coach. There's several things to do, but keep going. I always go back to my grandmother when she told me that I've got those 2 strikes. And I was like, yes, there may be strikes. There's nothing I can do to change them. And, it's about how can I leverage the power that I have as a woman. What is my superpower? What is my why? If I'm doing this for my son, you saw him walk past a little earlier. He's my biggest advocate. There's many times when I started and he'll say, Mom, keep going. He said, one day Oprah's going to call you. It's, and have a conversation with her. So you were seeing in me, really things that, my mom can do this. And I think it's based on the journey that we've had together. He's 35, so we've been through a lot, and he knows that, I've overcome other things. So this is another thing I know my mom will overcome, and he's my why, and I keep going, as well as my husband. I know he wants to open his own restaurant. It's been his dream since he was a young boy, and I work towards that as well, because my dreams are not only for me, they're also how can I help my family as well.
Today Africa Podcast is a podcast series where we interview African entrepreneurs and professionals and share the stories behind their businesses. In each interview, we ask how they got started, how they grew, and how they run their business today. The stories are inspiring and also provide specific advice and insight into starting a business. By sharing these stories, we want to help others get started.